5 things I hate and 5 things I love about this thing, my Toyota Supra. I'm going to kind of go over the things that I love about the car and that fucking just piss me off to no end. So, hope you guys enjoy the video, and here's what I got to say. Alright guys, first things first, Targa top. I love this about the car, but I also hate it in many aspects. Number one thing is when you take the top off these things, they ride like utter dog shit. They're just, period, they ride like shit. The dash creaks and cracks. The car just doesn't feel very stiff anymore. When you try to make a turn, you can definitely feel the car feels much looser and not nearly as much stable. It just doesn't ride well. I really feel that Toyota put this on as an afterthought. On most parts of the world, the Supra does not come with the Targa, mostly in Japan, United Kingdom, Middle East. They all, for the most part, are all hard tops. Pretty much the United States and Canada were able to get the Targa tops, but it was mainly a US item. And I really feel that Toyota kind of just went, well, let's add this as an afterthought, and you can really feel it in the chassis and stiffness-wise. I've tried doing a couple things to help stiffen up the chassis, but it hasn't quite fixed all the issues I've had so far. Also, the seals that go with the Targa, and down the doors also, are stupid expensive to replace, and they tend to leak pretty easily. So you have to buy new seals, and new seals can be $700-800, which to me is outrageous. It gets kind of old. Also on the hard tops, the roofs actually look a little bit smoother and nicer too. That's me being nitpicky, but I kind of like that about the hard tops also. But that's the first thing I want to say about Targa top. Let's go on to the next item now. Alright, next on the list is no cup holder. I know it's a sports car, I get it, blah blah blah, purist, whatever. I like to do it for long drives. If I don't have a passenger with me, I have no one to hold the drink. Except for, every sports car needs this, an ashtray. So you take that bad boy out, and it will fit a drink. Great. Worst spot possible. Can't rotate the gears too well with that in the way. So that's one of my big pet peeves also. There's no cup holders in these cars. I know it sounds trivial and dumb until you start actually driving this a good bit and actually go down the road for a couple hours. It just gets quite annoying, but I guess I just deal with it for now. It is small and trivial, but I really wish this bitch had a real cup holder. That's it. Next, fucking cost of stock parts and finding them. Can't even find half the parts anymore. Unfortunately, Toyota has decided, let's go ahead and discontinue everything now. Now I understand the car, this model exactly is 1995, so it's 21 years old now. Toyota has decided to start discontinuing parts. The V160 that's so powerful, no longer can be bought. The rear end, nope, she gone. Head, peace out. They've got rid of that too. Most of the interior panels, they've started discontinuing. Can't buy just random little pieces that you can no longer get anymore, and it makes it quite annoying. I don't know why they started doing it so fast all of a sudden. I know the car is getting old, but I myself and I know quite a few other people have started stockpiling just in case something does break. We at least have a backup for it. Floor mats now sell for $400-500. New, they were $80. It's crazy where things have gotten so far. So that's one of my pet peeves. I do not like that Toyota has discontinued all these parts. Hopefully they start bringing some of the stuff back, or someone in the aftermarket takes over and steps in to take over for that stuff. Next, cost of aftermarket parts. Let's compare to a Civic real quick, just to put in perspective. I understand 2 less cylinders, whatever, fuck it. Intake manifold. For a Civic, for a nice one, $800 maybe, or roughly or so. One for my car from Hypertune, $2,800. The fuck? I understand the car is a low production number vehicle. It is a rare car. But come on, $2,800 for an intake manifold? That's fucking outrageous. The exhaust manifolds are the same way. Anything that's not generic. I mean, the valve covers I have in the car, that kind of went overkill. Billet valve covers cost $1,000. $1,000 for valve covers. The fuck, man. It just seems outrageous. If you want a tilt and clutch, something that will actually hold the power, $5,500. Or even for a normal clutch, South Bend and all those guys, you're looking at $2,300-2,500 for a clutch. It's just outrageously priced, and I know we call it super tax, and it is quite, I understand, it is quite tedious and annoying, but it is what it is. Alright, so the last gripe here is kind of on me. This car was actually originally a non-turbo car. I swapped the engine about a year or so ago now. Have the engines all set up properly, running on AEM Infinity standalone right now, but the car's not finished. What I mean by that, it still runs a shitty W58 and I have the open diff for it. Now I do have a TRD LSD actually sitting over here beside the car and a TT diff that can go in it, but I haven't gotten a transmission yet. Still debating whether to find a used V160 for 4,500 to 6,000 or to stick with the CD009 out of the 350Z. They make an adapter plate that bolts up to this engine to, have everything work out. So I think I might go that route. I haven't decided yet. Comes down to this part. Also need a fuel system too. I'm still on 440cc injectors. Yes, I know, dumb, whatever. Costs money. And yeah, I think that's probably one of the things I really hate right now is that I can't beat on the car like I'd like to. So yeah, I need to work on that ASAP. All right, next would be the cockpit style interior of these cars. I absolutely love that about this car. I love the way that everything just kind of wraps around you and everything's pointed towards me. The passenger literally gets nothing in this vehicle. If you try to even mess with the radio, it's not meant for the passenger to even touch or deal with. I just love how everything's faced towards me. The gauges in it look fantastic. I just like how everything, it feels like a cockpit. It feels like a real sports car. I love having the tack dead center. I love the way I just like everything about it. I mean, I can't bitch or complain about everything. The only thing I think I would have complained about, but I replaced it, was the grandma steering wheel they come with. This is actually out of a JDM Supra I got from Chris Floor. Shout out to you, buddy, for that, by the way. Probably one of my favorite things I did the interior was putting the steering wheel in, but for the most part, they're pretty much perfect. I have no complaints about these at all. Next one for me would be the look of the car. I absolutely love the way this car looks. I just think it looks timeless. It looks smooth. It looks like a true two-door sports car. It doesn't... I feel like new cars, the GTR, the new Camaros, the Mustangs and stuff, they've all gotten so blocky or so out of touch with what I feel sports cars should look like or how it should look like. The 90s sports cars from Japan just were timeless to me. Between the Supra, the FD, 300ZX, all those cars were just beautiful in my eyes. I just think they did such a good job with this back in the day. The smoothness of everything, the way the headlights look, down to the front bumper that's got the big mouth on it I call so you can fit a fat intercooler in it. I love that aspect of this car, the way the looks came out. They did a damn good job. Fucking love it. Alright, the next thing for me would be the total power package of these cars when it comes down to the engine, transmission, rear end. Toyota built this car right from the start. The 2JZ is synonymous with making power. The V160 that's in these cars, Joe Granis has been banging around for 2 or 3 years now, making over 1,600 wheel horsepower. The rear ends are known, as long as you have a TRD LSD, to hold over 1,000 horsepower all day long. This car is just built so well. Toyota did such a good job, in my opinion, of putting a total package together. Now, they did outsource. The transmission itself is actually from Getrag, which is a German company. The head was helped out by Yamaha. The block and rear end are done 100% by Toyota. They knew where to go to. They knew how to get things done. And the package itself altogether works so well. It's so impressive. And when I go to a car show, I mean, 9 times out of 10, someone asks me, like, well, how much power are you making? Because right away, everyone thinks it's a Supra. You have to be making 1,000 horsepower, which obviously I am not even remotely close to that. Maybe one day, but these cars can definitely make the power if you're willing to put the money into it and take the time. The stock engine in stock form, you can throw a big turbo on it like I have here, add some fuel, turn the boost up, and make 800 wheel horsepower all day reliably. Keep it at 800 wheel, 600 foot-pounds of torque, and you'll have no issues as long as you have the V160 and a good rear end in it. The only thing I could think would be maybe replace the drive shaft itself. I think it would be the one weak link in it. You put a one-piece from drive shaft shop, and you should be good to go. But the power potential in this car is quite amazing, in my opinion. All right, lastly for me, this kind of puts 2 into 1, but quality of the car. The quality of the car is just above and beyond what they needed to back in the day, in my opinion. Everything is held up so well. The car actually has mostly factory paint still on it, and there's no rust on the car. It's always been up north too, and the guy that had it before me actually drove it year-round in the salt, and it has no rust underneath, which anyone that's from the Northeast knows how bad it can be here. Toyota built a very, very well-designed design vehicle. On top of that, also, this kind of all correlates together, but easy to work on. You get a 10, a 12, and a 14 millimeter wrench, you can take apart 90% of this car. It just makes your life so much easier. I've had friends, Zach Clopper, for example, he had an R32 GTR before he had his Supra, and a couple other Nissan 240s with RB swaps in them. He, to this day, even says that this car is way easier than those to work on. He said just everything just made sense, everything just bolted up easier. I still think he's a GTR fan at heart, but he will admit that these cars are 10 times easier to work on than what his GTR was. And I do like that about this car a lot. It makes my life easy, especially when I'm trying to get something done quick. The only complaint I guess I could have would be the oil filter, but meh, you only have to change it every so often, so it's not a big deal. Alright guys, thank you guys as usual. Like and comment below, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you all think. Peace.